We're here today with Hunter Reed. Hunter's president of Payroll Funding Canada. And with all the companies and the turmoil that we're going through right now for small business, it's a pretty important service, but it must be very difficult to continue providing a service like that. Hunter, what do you do?
I think the number one thing that we do is help other companies, whether they be staffing companies or agencies that are assisting different businesses in every different silo in
Mhm.
terms of being able to offer their people and payroll and back office as well as fund the payroll so that people can get back out there to work, even if it's on a contingent or temporary basis until we get through this.
Okay. And during this period of isolation, has that been more difficult or have it been more demands on you?
In fact, it's been both. At first, most companies or individuals that we work with sort of stepped back and decided not to make the decision to hire direct, which led to a couple of weeks of a bit of a hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
Individuals that were in job interview processes had holds put on, or they were in a situation where their management had asked them to no longer hire or perhaps to freeze just until we knew what was coming. And so, in the absence of information, we tend to freeze a little bit and
Yep.
wait to see what is going to happen next. So the first couple of weeks was a little bit slow, and I think everyone was just trying to get a sense of what was going to be reality or what was going to be the new norm. And that's led to becoming very busy, as a matter of fact, even while I work here from my home office now. And it's just keeping in touch with all of our different clients and customers right across the nation. We're coast to coast, and making sure that we're staying in touch with the individuals that need that service.
It's interesting. We hear doom and gloom on the media every day because that's the business they're in. But in fact, in reality, we're close to 70% of the population are still employed and still working, whether they're working from home or, small business, gas station, emergency services, food stores. So there's still going to be quite a demand, in fact, for services like yours.
There is quite a demand. In fact, it's increased in a lot of categories. And excuse me, my heart honestly goes out to a lot of different family members and friends, and of course, there's many people that I don't know that haven't been in a situation where they've been deemed an essential worker. A lot of those people are in the entertainment or hospitality or just a whole variety of different services. Not to mention, we've got to respect those individuals who are out there at this time with all the changes of environment, the social distancing that we're experiencing on work sites or in work environments for those individuals that are on the front line. It has been a mix. I don't think any one scenario fits, for a whole group of people anymore. We've all had to adapt and change. But certainly in the areas of consumer demand or product goods, food distribution, in the entire supply chain, we're seeing a huge push and leap in terms of the number of people that are being hired. Amazon was a good example of recently requiring 800,000 new employees. But anyone in those types of environments, even though we're going through this, we as individuals, all as consumers, of course, no matter where we work or what we do, we need to eat, we need that comfort of home, we need the environment, and we need to stay connected to loved ones as well as business. So we are seeing a huge influx in those types of categories.
Now, in your case, who is your typical client or who's your target client?
Often our direct customer is an agency or a staffing company, or perhaps a small or growing mid-size or SME in construction, perhaps a subcontractor. They're individuals whose primary, or companies rather, whose primary focus is, or cost base is their people, but that's also their primary revenue source. And so without people, you can't generate a revenue. And that's true of many businesses. I realize that, if not all. But to the extent that they are the number one item, if you will, on both your asset side and your liability side, your cost side of your balance sheet. So those are the types of companies that are our customers. And in turn, we have a lot of contact and exposure to many other industries as a result.
Yeah. So in fact, in addition to small business coaching, I also happen to own a renovation company. And it's been pretty slow right now, but payroll and keeping payroll going for renovation contractors and construction companies that are small don't necessarily have the back office to do all that work themselves.
It's very true. And one of the challenges that we do run into, Wayne, is we get a bit of a stretch on what we call DOS, or days outstanding. And that's just the receivable. And so in a small business, cash is king, and that's true of all business, in my opinion. But in a small business, you can only grow so far as you can afford to do so. And the banks certainly have their terms, and there's personal funds or what have you. But your receivables and holding on to those and keeping them from stretching is very important. And currently, a lot of our customers, we've been working with them to try to keep the days outstanding on their receivables to what they've expected in the past. And often what we get is a question as to whether or not, it's a new time, meaning companies or individuals believe that they can stretch a receivable at this point. And the answer is no. It's not that. It's not that it's being taken advantage of, or during this COVID-19, suddenly our days outstanding on receivable goes or takes longer. It's simply in large part because we're all now operating in environments where we're learning new technology. My kids teach me a heck of a lot faster than I can take it in these days. But things like this, where we're able to do interviews from our home offices, where we're able to utilize tools such as Zoom or FaceTime if it's with family and things like that. So learning all of that takes a little bit of time, and it takes larger companies or mid-sized companies a little bit more effort to be able to simply get through that payroll process, and on the receivable side, the payable process. So yes, it's pushing it out a little bit, but it's not unseen or unheard of, and I don't believe it's intentional in large part. It's just something that we're dealing with right now as a society.
What's your number one tip for people small business owners working in isolation right now? Their business has been turned upside down.
Yeah, I've read a lot about it. I've heard a lot of much wiser people give some answers to this type of a question. And I think a lot of it is stay calm and things are going to be okay and so on. And I do believe that that's true. I also believe, though, that it's important to stay on whatever it is in your business that makes your business money. If that means that, for an example, you've got to be out there looking for, perhaps it's the next transaction, perhaps you're in the type of business where you need to be on the phones, or you're used to being in front of people in order to do it. And you're now no longer able to, so you've got to adapt a little bit. So staying the course isn't really the necessary answer. What I would say is this: I'm absolutely amazed by the connectivity of people right now. And what I mean by that is, if you picked up the phone and you introduced yourself to somebody new, often that is not received well in the normal course of business, meaning we all get these types of, we'll call them distractions, there's sales calls. And so the number one point, and we've seen a lot of success with our customers and with, in terms of their feedback to us, and also myself personally, I've reached out to individuals and I've spoken to a lot of people on a very real level that has allowed me to, for an example, it's allowed me to have conversations I wouldn't have had before. I'm speaking with companies and they're quite busy. It's not that the busyness has stopped. In fact, if anything, it's picked up a little bit. Our work hours have stretched outside of the 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 or whatever our normal work hours have been, because we can do that. But the number one point is this: reach out, continue with your personal authenticity, be okay with asking individuals or telling individuals about yourself and your particular business and what has changed in that, in terms of what your needs are and what your service and or supply can be, or product or services. And I found that the response has been phenomenal in terms of people just trying to help people, even on a business level where normally we wouldn't have that type of conversation. So that would be my number one key point for everyone: is continue to be your authentic self, be perfectly comfortable with asking someone, and have a little fun, and let them know if you drink wine that you did it at 1 o'clock, that afternoon. That's great. That's perfect timing. It was almost prompted.
So, how would our audience get a hold of you if they need to speak to you?
Yeah, I'm a talker, so I love to chat with people. I love to do it on the phone. I would say phone, text, email doesn't matter. However we do connect, I would say I'd welcome a conversation and just begin a dialogue.
Okay, so the website is payrollfunding.ca.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, and your email is, was it?
Email is easy. It's hunter@payrollfunding.ca, and our 1-800 number, regardless of where you're calling from, is 1-844-212-FUND, or otherwise 3863.
Okay, and can people connect with you on LinkedIn as well?
Absolutely, I'd welcome it. Yeah, start a
Okay,
conversation there if that's the comfortable way to do so.
fabulous. Have a safe day, and thank you for being so helpful.
Thank you, Wayne. All the best.
Okay.